welcome to Sensible Secondhand Reviews, the series where we put rational and sensible cars through their paces that you can buy for between £1,000 and £5,000. This is a 2011 Toyota Yaris 1.33 T Spirit Nav, which has been very kindly lent to the channel by Simon from the Lot 76 Cars channel, and quite enjoying it really. So we have had a Yaris on the channel before. That was a 2003 Yaris 1.5 T Sport that was owned by one of my channel viewers, Hugh. We did it for no budget reviews. I think he paid some extraordinarily low sum of money for it. This kind of feels similar to one of those, and when this XP90 Mark II Yaris was launched in 2005, I think a lot of people who'd liked the first generation of Yaris also liked the second generation one. It's still that weird kind of instrument thing going on, although because this is a facelift car, the digital instruments in a kind of little tunnel that were just all over the original one, apart from the really sporty ones. They have been replaced by these dials which aren't digital readout, they're an analog readout, but they have the backlight, which it's a little bit unusual. It takes a bit of getting used to because there's no dash instrument binnacle in front of me at all. It's actually on the left hand side in the centre, which obviously made it easier for, you know, left and right hand drive and things, but it just takes a bit of getting used to, that's all. On the SR model, particularly the 1.8 SR, which was the sort of sporty pre-facelift one, that actually had, I think, different instruments again, rather like the old T Sport did in the Mark I. The production run of these wasn't particularly long, especially in comparison to the Mark III Yaris, the XP130, I think sometimes known as the XP150 in certain variants, which lasted for about 9 years. This only lasted for about 6. The base engine for one of these wasn't actually the same as the 1 litre Yaris Mark I. It was out of the Toyota Yaris, generating 68 horsepower. Then there was original 1.3, which generated around 85 horsepower. This 1.33 came in 2009 and generates 99 horsepower. It is quite a nice engine actually. I've driven this in a Mark III Yaris and it didn't feel as urgent as this at all. I don't know if that's a heavier car or something. I'm not really sure, but this feels good. As I said, the really sporty Mark II Yaris, not that it was a hot hatch or anything, but it was a warm hatch, was the SR, or the SR Nav, depending on whether you had sat nav or not. And the pre-facelift ones were available with a 1.8 engine generating 131 horsepower. That was discontinued before, I think, even the facelift came in. So they weren't available for long at all. I think it was about 18 months, but a friend of mine used to have one of those actually. They're well worth seeking out if this particular engine isn't fast enough for you. There were also, of course, some diesels available, but as usual, due to controversial government legislation and many other reasons, we don't talk about diesels on this channel. One thing that was said to me before I started driving this car was the ride was a little bit on the firm side. Now, in comparison with many other cars I've driven, I don't particularly find that. I think it is a reasonably compliant ride, particularly in this T Spirit. It's not the SR model, which would have had firmer suspension and presumably larger alloy wheels. But the camera is moving around a little bit, so part of that is due to the setup that I use that is prone to that. But also I think it's a it's a reasonably comfortable setup for most people. This is a car that you can take on longer journeys, but a lot of people would have bought this car for town use. And you know, I'm just going into a little village now, and the surface isn't really that good, but it's not too bad really. Obviously, let me know in the comments section below if you think the camera's moving around more than usual, but I don't think it is. Steering's incredibly light, particularly at parking speed. It's ridiculously light actually. There's not an awful lot of feedback through the wheel, but then I don't think people bought this car to be something like that. If you wanted better driving dynamics, you bought a Ford Fiesta Mark 6 or Mark 7, both of which we've had on the channel before. The gear change again isn't as nice as the IB5 5-speed manual that you find in Mark 6 and Mark 7 Fiestas, but it's absolutely fine. This is actually a 6-speed, which came in with a 1.33 engine with the 2009 facelift, and you know, with the extra cruising gear it's quite good, although there is no cruise control in this car, and I don't think that was at all available on an XP90 Yaris in this country. It just feels very, very easy to drive. You can see why people just came back and just bought more and more Yarises, I don't know. I did it at A-level Latin, and even I'm not sure what plural of Yaris is. So there we go. Let's take it onto a slightly faster road and let's just see what it's like. Right, viewers. Actually, this isn't too bad. 0 to 60 in this car I think is somewhere in the region of 11.5 seconds. Top speed maybe 109 miles an hour. Not the fastest thing I've ever driven, but for someone like me with a driving style that I have, it's absolutely fine. Gearbox, the throw is quite long, but actually it's quite pleasant to use. Let's just drop it into 6, going through this corner. Yeah, that's pretty good. It's actually better to drive than I thought it would be. Here we are, viewers, once again in the very windy Hampshire countryside. I do apologise for the wind noise today. Simon is just over there. He's just getting some shots of the Rover that he's filming for his channel as well. So this is a very late Mark II Yaris, the XP90 version. It was registered June 2011, and actually the press cars for the Mark III, the XP130, were registered in August, so it's a very, very late Mark II indeed. It's in really good condition. The car's done, I think, less than 20,000 miles. So, you know, the chance of you getting this on no budget reviews is, well, none. One of the great things about these cars is the practicality, and I won't be able to do too much today because I've got Simon's child seat in here today for taking his child around. You can see it fits very nicely in there, but the entire back seat row actually reclines and slides. We'd probably go to get that side to recline if we need to. Actually, I can show you that it is. You can see here that that's actually reclining differently from that side. We do underneath here have a space over spare wheel. Yes, we do. Fantastic. It's very good. And of course, this is just in remarkable condition. When Simon bought the car, 2014 I think it was, it had done about 4,000 miles. He's had it that long, and you know, why change something if it works for you? And by that stage, Toyota had a 5-year warranty, so they did believe in the quality of their cars. For the European market, these were built in a factory in France, like the Mark 1s were as well. I think they are built in France up until this day. Because this is a really late car, it is on a post-facelift styling, although really you have to be quite an expert to spot it, but we've got things like the different headlamps, and the front bumper's a little bit different. The T Spirit was a top of the range car at the time. The SR was a little bit more sporty, but by this time in 2011, the 1.8 litre engine that originally came with had been discontinued. Fortunately, somebody passed by as we were just parked up a little bit further up there earlier on, and so we've got a bit of mud on it, which isn't great. Nice comfortable ride on this. You know, we've got just 15-inch wheels, but a nice profile on there as well. So although you'll be able to tell me what the ride's actually like with one of these, as to sort of how much the camera shakes, but nevertheless not the sort of sportiest thing, and that's not really what the average person who bought a Yaris wanted. They didn't want the sportiest and most dynamic experience. They wanted practicality and durability. Certainly, from what I understand, the issues on these cars are minor, if anything. Straight away you're sort of thinking, where's the instrument cluster? Where's it gone? There it is. It's just there. Yeah, 16,615 miles. Hardly anything at all. And actually this is standard sat nav. It's a normal sort of Hampshire filming location that I use for a lot of things. It's actually a built-in TomTom sat nav, and you can upgrade this because this doesn't use a CD or anything. It's possible to you know, upgrade this, you know, using a laptop or something like that, which is good. So we'll just keep that on. Put it to that one. There we go. Let's hope that radio doesn't come on, because I don't like copyright infringement on the channel. You see the eco mode is on because this car actually does have stop start. The early Mark III Yarises with this 1.33 engine didn't have stop start. This one does though. Let's see how many glove boxes that we've got. 1, 2, 3. Brilliant. I'll see if the second best docket's fitted in a little while. The interior of this car is absolutely and utterly immaculate. It's actually quite nice with these sort of light coloured accents. It's not all kind of grey plastic. It's not the nicest feeling plastic, but I gather it's quite durable. And you know, we've got things like this in here. Even you could put a drink in there or something. That's really, really clever. I've got bottle holders in the doors as well. Despite the fact that this is the top of a range car, I've only got 2 electric windows, which is strange. We've got things like climate control and rear parking sensors in this car. No cruise control or anything like that. And so if this side is the steering wheel controls, which is handy, what exactly is supposed to be on here? Is that for cruise control? Well, I don't think it really can be, because this is the top of the range car, and I don't think that there were sort of options like that. So maybe in other markets you could get cruise control and you know, rear electric windows and things, but not in this one. It's possible the pre-facelift at 1.8 SR had 4 electric windows, but I don't actually know. If you know, answer the comment section below. Ooh, we've got a removable ashtray as well. That's nice. Does that comes out too? You could take that out if you don't want it. Brilliant. 6-speed gearbox, because this is a 1.33 engine, and a USB and aux down here. Wow. And you can turn stop start off, as I know some of you like doing. I quite like it, but I seem to find on the channel that I'm in the minority with that. Idiot-proof kind of controls of the lights and the wipers here. Although no automatic lights or wipers, as far as I know. I don't think you could get them on anything, which you know, may be a little shame. The screen looks really tiny actually on this. This being the T Spirit Nav model, it just looks hilariously small in 2022. But you know, you could just get the standard T Spirit if you don't want that nav. That's not a problem. These individual lights. and a main one too. Excellent. Headroom is really good in this car. I feel a little bit high, but I don't feel as high as the Mark 1 Yaris T Sport that I filmed back in 2020. It feels a little bit lower for some reason than that. The seats actually feel really comfortable. There's got these little things in here for dropping coins in and things like that. That's pretty good, really. Right, let's see if I can get in the back. I've made this unnecessarily difficult for myself, viewers, by parking in mud and leaves, but see if I can get in. Oh, that's really easy. That's easy. That's no problem. The biggest problem I've got here is that the headrest is in the wrong place. There we go. But once that's sorted, I'm fine. Headroom is absolutely fine, especially for a car of this size. Legroom, I could either just slide this seat forward a little bit, or I could slide this one back a bit, which I think I might be able to do. Hold on a second, viewers. Just pause it here. I should have been paying attention earlier in the video, really. These are the controls for reclining and sliding the seats. This one, it's really hard to do with one hand, but there we go. So you can see the seats do move forward. If I'm handing them round the back like that, that would just move the backrest forward in an incline. You can actually clip the seat belts in here as well. Someone's really thought of how people use the car. I think actually with the seat I'm at the sort of maximum back position, why it's not moving. But yeah, that's pretty good. And look at all this room under here for putting your feet there. Bottle holder here, bottle holder there, bottle holder on the right. Sounds like charge of the light brigade. Bottle holder to the left, bottle holder to the right. Why am I making references to 19th century poetry today? Who knows? Right, yes, rear courtesy light, brilliant. You don't get that on an MG ZS EV that costs £34,000, which is a bit silly. It feels all right. The materials feel absolutely fine. I feel like they're going to last a really long time, which, you know, they already have, and they will continue to do so for many more years, no doubt. So here we go. This is a 1.33 litre engine. It seems a bit unnecessary to call it that, but it's because the earlier Mark II Yarises had just a 1.3 engine. That developed 85 horsepower. This develops 99 horsepower with dual variable valve timing. It doesn't look as easy to work on as some cars. I mean, I think maybe say a Mark VI Fiesta would be a little bit easier to work on than this. But it doesn't look too bad. Of course, there's no cam button on this, it's a chain cam engine, so that's obviously an advantage. Yeah, you probably don't need to be in too much in here anyway, because the engines are very reliable. The problems with this car, they're sort of things like minor electrical issues and things like that. There was a recall that was done at about, I think, about 2010, something like that, for these, maybe a little bit later. So make sure the recall work has been done. If you're looking at buying one of these, there's a government website that actually lists them, and you can put your registration number in and just see if it's been done. But that's about it, really. There's not much else to say other than just make sure the car's been serviced properly. Right, time to go for another drive. Yes, viewers, the mount is in the way. That's just the way it goes on the channel, I'm afraid. It's just the way that it is. So the bottom of the range car was called the T2. There was also a T3, later renamed to TR. I'd probably not recommend the base level one of these, because you don't actually get seat height adjustment in it. Above the TR, things got, well, interesting. There was the Sporty SR, which was available with a 1.8 engine, but also came with the 1.33 and forbidden fuel variants at various times. The T Spirit and SR also had nav versions. This is obviously a T Spirit Nav, and the T Spirit was sort of more luxurious one, although we don't have things like you know, leather seats and cruise control in this. There's, you know, a limit somewhere that Toyota thought that you know, wasn't worth going above for a little car like this. There are also the Ion and Zinc special editions, which don't come with, you know, necessarily most exciting engines. I remember driving a 1 litre one of these around sort of Clapham Common back in 2018 when I was looking for a car for a client, and actually it wasn't too bad. I think if you only drive in the city, then the 1 litre, despite having a 0 to 60 time at somewhere in the region of 15 seconds, isn't actually too bad, and the fuel economy of those is very, very good. Certainly you can pick up a Mark II Yaris or XP90 Yaris for well under £5,000. It's not difficult. Obviously they're not no budget reviews cars or anything like that, and second-hand prices in general are quite high at the moment, so these are in demand. Particularly something like this, which is extremely low mileage and very nicely specified. Let's have a look at some of the places around the world where the XP90 Yaris stroke Vitz stroke whatever was built. Obviously in France, in Japan, in China, in Thailand and in Taiwan. Related cars are the Belter. You'll have to tell me whether you think it's actually a Belter or not. The Vios, the Ractis, which in the next generation was sold over here as the Toyota Verso S, and of course the Urban Cruiser. This XP90 shape of car was also sold on the continent as the Daihatsu Charade from 2011 to 2013, once this XP90 Yaris had been discontinued. Obviously Daihatsu then pulled out of Europe around 2013 anyway, so that wasn't the longest lasting thing. So what is the final verdict then on this Mark II Yaris? Is this a car that you should consider with your hard-earned budget of between £1,000 and £5,000 as a sensible second-hand car? Well, it's hard to argue, really, that this isn't one of the best sensible second-hand cars out there. They're very cheap to run, particularly in this later guise with the stop-start going on. They drive okay, not as nicely as a Mark VI or Mark VII Fiesta, but you don't really expect that when you're buying one of these, I don't think. And they seem to hold their value quite well as well. The reliability is generally very good. Obviously make sure you check the car carefully before you do buy it, using maybe the services of somebody like me, or just be careful yourself. And you should have many years of trouble-free motoring, really. Obviously a disclaimer is that you know, I can't guarantee that. Anyway, thank you ever so much indeed for watching this episode of Sensible Secondhand Reviews. Thank you to Simon from Lot 76 Cars again for letting me film this. And yes, don't forget to like this video, leave a comment below, subscribe. Feel free to join my channel if you'd like to support us on a monthly basis. And we'll see you again for more extremely rational motoring.